All right, y'all, we live. Um,
Man.
Appreciate y'all tuning back in, man, for another episode of Comedians Chopping It Up. I'm here with two young cats in the game, man. I had the pleasure to meet over the years of me doing comedy. On the screen right now, I got my man Mickey Housley, who I met in Boston at the Boston Comedy Festival.
Right.
And then my other dude, this dude right here, is I watch from afar. Like that's my dude because I remember when we first connected, which was in Greensboro at the Greensboro Comedy Zone, where he was one of the house MCs, and we used to just sit back and be like, when you gonna get some regular time, bro? You know what I mean? Like, are you mad funny, B? You can't get no regular time. You know what I mean? So he took his talents and went to NYC. And Mickey was also in NYC when I met you when you were in Boston. And because of the pandemic, both of y'all went back to respective areas. Like you from Texas, Mickey, right?
Right.
And you were from North Carolina, Jourdain. Y'all both bounced out of New York and went back home just for the time being until this pandemic is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in New York, comedian wise, because unless they from there, but that Rona, man. Every time you look on the news or people hit you, they make it seem like New York was just people dying left and right. So I was like,
so y'all bounced. Okay, so y'all bounced, and how y'all doing? Like how y'all doing the rent and everything?
I
Well,
I was I like had I paid like another month's rent. Luckily the lease was up like as soon as this hit. So like my lease was about to end at the end of April. So I paid for May, but went up like in the middle of May and put all my shit in storage and just left the apartment. So I'm free from the apartment now.
Wow. Yeah. And what happened with you, Mick?
Well, so when we met, I was actually in Chicago, and I'd only been in New York a couple months, so I hadn't even found the spot yet. So I was a buddy of mine from Houston was let me crash with him or whatnot. So I was in a fortunate situation already anyway. But until I got my apartment situation situated, but then Rona happened. So but my boy, he just wrote a letter to his people and was like, I ain't paying it.
But I think that's a lot of people is like that, man. It's like, yo, like when it hit me, I was like, yo, I don't know how I'm gonna pay. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like it just didn't make no sense to me. So I immediately wrote, to the company. It was like, yo, I don't see how I'm gonna pay y'all. Right. I don't know what to tell you, but I knew the courts was closed. I'm like, y'all can't evict me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a wild situation, man. But, Mickey, you say you're originally from Houston.
Yeah.
Did you start comedy in Houston?
Yeah, I started in H-Town. I was doing it there for like 5 years, and then went to Chicago. All the talent in Houston was bouncing anyway. So I was, at a certain point, it's like, I'm already house MC at the Improv, and what else is there left to do? So, all these contests I was doing, like the Bay Area and stuff like that, it seemed like the Chicago cast was winning them or whatnot. I think,
yeah. So you made your move based off of like well, Chicago is a hotbed now. Like you got a lot of beasts that came out of Chicago. So you was like, bump New York, I'm gonna go to Chicago.
Yeah, well, I knew I wanted to get to New York anyway. So I'm like, instead of just, rushing and going straight there, I'm like, let's hit a different scene, meet new people. And so now I got a lot of homies from, I can go back to Houston, have work anytime. I can go to Chicago, have work anytime. And so that was my mindset or whatnot. So like I said, I know all the Chicago hitters that's coming up, and same with H-Town. So that was my mindset.
And Jourdain, like we come from a different area, but it's better for us in a sense because when you start doing comedy in the South, your comedy can translate better to other areas. We learn that better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you start doing jokes in North Carolina, you in the Bible Belt,
right,
and you in a racial tense area at times.
Mm-hmm.
So your comedy your comedy benefits from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then when you go to different places, it helps. So when you first got to New York, how was the transition?
It was good overall, but New York is great because it teaches you what material is not as strong as you thought it was. So you get like, you go there and you tell some of the jokes that may have worked in the South, or like, just may work at like certain things on the road. And then, New York, you hit it in New York and they're like, nah, you gotta be more creative than that. And you're like, okay, but that's the reason you moved there, is so, that iron sharpens iron mentality, get all that bitch out of you.
Right. So when you first hit the scene, like, was it like, did you have to go with somebody you knew to get on the stage?
Well, when I first got there, basically I ran into a comic I had seen on YouTube, actually.
Okay.
And I asked her if it was cool with me, like, rolling with her for that night or whatever, to her little spots that she was doing. And she was like, yeah, sure, okay. So, I went around with her and like became friends with her, because she was like a hustler. She's always like going to mics, hitting stages, like getting in as much stage time as she possibly can. And she's doing well now. She's got a late night set. She's written for the Jim Jeffries show and stuff like that now. Her name's Suba Agarwal.
Okay.
So just getting there, that first year is literally just figuring out where to go, like, just, mic wise. So I was going to these mics and it's like you're starting over. You can't just show up to New York and be like, hey, I do the road and I've won some contests. They're like, so bitch, who They're like, you ain't coming to no comedy clubs. We don't know anything about you. You ain't got no credits. So it's like starting over. You got to do those open mics again. And open mics are 2 minutes of stage time.
Right.
And at the time when I was there, I had been doing comedy 7 years. So seeing open micers telling jokes for open micers, I was in the back sleep, legit.
Right.
Hiding off. Like y'all wasting your time out here making jokes for each other.
Right.
So, but then eventually, I navigated my way and started hitting some clubs and like getting in here and there. And,
right. Start making a name for yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, Mickey, with Chicago, that's a more of an urban scene, right? So you had to get in with the urban scene probably first, or did you go to the mainstream side first?
It's kind of like yes and no, what you said about the urban scene, because it is urban, but then you got the mainstream side too. And Chicago's weird because it's like segregated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you got north side, south side. So all the mainstream rooms is literally on one side of town, and all the urban rooms is on the other side, on the south side. So it's not like in Houston and maybe other scenes where you got mainstream urban rooms, but they can both sides can be on any on any area of town. But Chicago is like it's like a cutoff line or whatnot. But I did both, man. When I visited Chicago like in 2013, and everybody was telling me, they're like, man, don't go to the Laugh Factory, man. They racist, man. They don't really mess with with us, with our kind or whatnot. And I was hearing it, but I was like, well, I might have to break that barrier then, because you know what I'm saying? Right. And so, but fortunately, what happened when I ended up moving there a year later, the lady that was booking it, she left, and then a black dude took over. So when he took over, it was
the floodgates.
Yeah, the floodgates over there. So to answer your question, I was hitting both jokes and notes, and then hitting the mainstream too.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, there was a time frame. I think Chicago had maybe 6 to 10 comedians that all came from Chicago at the same time. It was all hitting at the same time, and it was like they couldn't miss. So it was like, what is going on in Chicago? You know what I mean? Because it was constant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it. You know what I mean? I get the whole idea, but it's good to have. I mean, you hitting a good triangle there between Houston, Chicago, and New York.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that year I did the Bay Area. You ever did the Bay?
I wanted to, but I heard so many stories about it. I was just like, I didn't want to waste my time trying to schmooze and all of that. I always was of the mindset of I'm a real stickler to my material, and I felt my material was strong enough not to have to win a contest to move on. Like I never felt like contests for me were never for comedians. Like I always felt like I take contests, like when I did the Boston Comedy Festival. I was there to network.
Yeah.
I wanted to get work in Massachusetts. I didn't really care about winning, right? I made it to the final. I still didn't get any gigs in Massachusetts, so I still felt like it was a waste. Like, you know what I mean? But it was my first time in it. And a lot of people was like, dude, you got to the finals the very first time you got in it. That's crazy. And I was just like, I didn't look at it that way. I was just like, I've been doing comedy for a long time. Like I need to be in the final. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and you had a stacked hand against you, because I think the round we did the second round and our mic was messed up or something like that.
Right. Yo, there was all the things. Here's the crazy thing about it. So you know, when I did the semifinal round, I went first.
Yeah, you went first.
And it was like nobody through the whole festival, anybody that went first, nobody advanced. I was the only person that advanced that went first.
Right.
And everybody was like, man, you got first. I was like, I don't give a damn. I was like, I'm gonna make the final. I got to.
Right.
Yeah, the mic was messed up. I remember the mic.
They brought like a mic from the 60s or something, I think.
Yeah, we couldn't move it. And it was like one of them, it was like one of those
welcome to the
room. Yeah.
That was horrible.
I was like, man, what is this, man? I was sitting there cracking up. I was like, I'm glad I'm a standstill comedian, yo. I was like, otherwise, Cass was like trying to move around. Like, as soon as you move the mic, that joke cut off.
Yeah, we was trying to watch you because you went first. We was trying to like, all right, how he did it.
Yeah, I was in there about to cuss everybody out, man.
Right.
TTBS.
Yeah, TTBS for real. Absolutely, man. But I mean, like Jourdain, I remember me and you, we were in the North Carolina's Funniest competition. And I remember us going to the finals of that, and we looking at the stage, and you know, we looking at each other like, we got this. You know what I mean? Like it's either gonna be me or you. I mean, we basically had it in the bag, and when they called the winner, we like, huh? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, man, fuck these contests. I was mad as hell, but you know, it was just like a learning experience, because
you can't. It's almost like you can't really go into those contests expecting to win. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
I mean, if you do great, but you know what I'm saying, you go in with that mindset because it's politics in it. So
it's important. It's important to know where you stand with your peers.
Right.
Like that's more important, to get respect from your peers. Like Jourdain, when we crossed paths again at the NBC stand-up situation, and we were in both different situations. You knew me from years. Yeah. And you're looking at me like, you shouldn't even be here. Like, like you were like, dude, this is dumb. Like for you to actually have to actually go through this, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there laughing at it, but you were like, you should know this person, you should know that person, you should know that person. You know what I mean? And it was
like those things. It's like, even if it's like one of those situations where, you know the person might be ahead of like the circumstances that they're in at that moment. It's like, at least they're there. So it's like, yo, these are the people you need to, regardless of what happens here. Like, meet this person, meet this person.
Right.
Like all the other shit's a wash, but like at least you in the room and in the presence of the people that can make those moves. And it's like, and if you got people to vouch for you, that's even, better.
Right. Because the crazy thing about it was I got word from somebody that was in that meeting that happened after all the comedians left, and they were arguing to see who was going to advance and who wasn't going to advance. And they said my name kept going on the table and off the table 3 different times. And then
all those things are, bro. Like all those things.
And then, so one of the people that argued for me was like, "What's the problem?" They was like, he was talking about his kids too much, and they was like, nobody else was talking about their kids because nobody else in here had kids. And then they go, yeah, but we heard that before. And he was like, not his stories, and it was so it was so funny.
Okay, can't nobody do kid material now.
I know. I was sitting there laughing because I'm going, somebody had a story like mine. Like, are you serious? You know what I mean?
Right.
And none of the people in the positions of power within entertainment know what the hell they're doing.
Nah, and it was funny because one guy told a joke. He didn't even tell a joke. He just said he was gay.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. It wasn't no joke or nothing. And then he advanced. I was like, what was that? I was in there like, I said, so he just made a statement. And they was like, oh yeah, he's advancing. I'm like, oh, I see what is going on. I was just like, this is tough.
That word diversity. So you got any little bit of diversity, oh, you pass.
I know. I mean, you got to basically say a whole bunch of stuff when you on stage.
I did it in. I went to the what you call it, the showcase round in Nashville, and some. I ain't trying to talk about it, but it was like a I think she was kind of like deaf or whatnot. And she, more power to you or whatnot, but she wasn't like, it was a lot of people that should have been in that finals or whatnot.
Right. And then, like I say, a lot of times they just trying. It's like the person that goes to Apollo and sings the church song. Right. So you ain't gonna boom off stage just because they doing the church song, but they wasn't better than the person that did Whitney Houston. You know what I mean? It's like one of those type situations. You know what I mean? But I know that it's starting to come out of the pandemic a little bit. I'm supposed to hit the road on the 19th. I'm hesitant, but at the same time, I'm real curious on how I will do on stage.
You feel rusty?
Ready?
I know I'm rusty. This is the longest I've ever been off stage.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how I would start.
Right.
Like
it'll be like it's gonna be 4 months. Think about this. 4 months. It might almost be half a year or more before I get on stage again, unless like Good Nights or something around here opens up and I can go get some time in there. But like,
yeah, right. I mean, cause to me it's strange because it's not like I can't go on. It's not like I can go on stage and start telling jokes.
Yeah.
Like you got to address where the hell y'all been for the last 3 months.
Right.
You got to address this whole racial stuff that's going on. You got to talk about it. Like for me to get on stage and not address Black Lives Matter, I'll be doing injustice to myself.
Right.
And I'm going to be in Greenville, South Carolina. So yeah. like Bliss is ignorant is coming. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to talk about it. I mean, whether you want to or not, I'm going to make the room uncomfortable. And I'm going to be like, look, man, if you don't like what I'm saying, put your mask on. Get the hell out. You know what I mean?
You be pushing that anyways, don't you?
Yeah, I push it because I have a lot of material that make people think about stuff they don't want to talk about. But I put it in a way where the conversation can be had. And then after the show, I get people that come up to me and go, I never thought of it that way. And I go, yeah, that's my job.
Yeah.
My job is to make you think about it where you're going to laugh at it, but you might be laughing at yourself at the end of this joke.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like those are the things that make me challenge myself to do. How much more social media have y'all did since this broke out?
Man, a little bit.
A little bit.
Like I say, my little like I was telling you before we hit the live, trying to learn Spanish. I've been trying to learn forever, but sitting in the house, I ain't got nobody to talk to practice with. So I'm like, okay, let me, hit up my Spanish speaking friends. So I started doing it on IG Live or whatnot. So I'm doing that, and I want to do a couple other shows. Like BT Kingsley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to him, man. He was like, he doing like 14 different online shows right now, and I'm like,
yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy. I do my podcast. I do game night. I do this comedians chopping it up. I talked to another comedian. He got 4 different shows that he does.
Right.
And like all of this stuff is happening. I posted more videos in the last 2 months than I've ever posted in comedy in my whole comedy career. In the whole 14 years I've been doing comedy.
Right.
And pumping out jokes after jokes after jokes after jokes. And I don't care. Because I'm like, I ain't using these jokes again. Right. I'm not using these jokes.
Hey, but it forced you to keep coming up with stuff though. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I feel like I'm starting all the way over. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
I think I might have 7 jokes that I haven't put online that I might be like, all right, I'm gonna start with this as a base.
Right.
Yeah. I got a few that I was telling right before quarantine happened. Some new ones that were like Corona related, and then I've come up with a few with everything that's going on. Some related to Corona or Black Lives Matter, or not related at all.
Right.
So it's like I ain't really had no chance to try them out or nothing like that. I'm supposed to be doing a Zoom show on the 18th, I think. Well, I might.
Have you done one of those before?
No, the only one I did was like they showed a clip of me and then interviewed me afterwards. So that wasn't like anything, but like performing.
Right.
That I'm supposed to do that on the 18th, just like a quick little 10-minute set, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I did one of them. It was cool.
The only one I've done, and and I'm just like, all right, we'll see what happens.
What was the reaction like when you did it, Mickey?
Man, it was cool, man. The dude that put it together, he had about like maybe 25, 30 people on there, and he the way he did it was he had pretty much everybody mute their thing, but he might have had like 7 or 8 people unmute theirs, so you could
hear the laughter.
Yeah. So, but you could see the reaction. The people you couldn't hear, you could see their reaction that they was laughing,
right?
Or whatnot. And I wasn't like, I think I went second to last, so everybody was doing their thing. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. But I
feel like on those shows, I feel like stories work way better than jokes.
Man, I saw a little bit. I saw that. One chick got on. She was doing like music. She had like a guitar. She was doing musical comedy, and it worked. Like everybody did their thing. It was one dude that was doing. He was doing like jokey, like quick setup punchlines. It was killing. I was like,
I just feel like that's a weird dynamic, man. But you know what, man? I'll be honest with you. Yeah. With the checks that colleges give out, I would do a college show that way.
Yeah, I did one, but my college agent hit me up at the beginning of it and was like, "Will you do a Zoom show?" And they were like, they were saying like a full college set, like 45 minutes to an hour. I was like,
man, for the Zoom, nah. I like, you want to bring that down some maybe half hour, maybe. You know what I mean?
I was saying, I was like, look, that's the money is cool and all, but you're gonna have to cut that shit way down.
Like 45 minutes.
45 minutes where nobody's done. This was at a time when nobody had done Zoom shows yet. Like it was like the very beginning. So it was like, let's try it online. It's like
it's gonna be 2 people watching at the end of that 45 minutes.
That's like I've had people hit me up one time like to do a private event. And they'd be like, all right, we want a comedian. I'd be like, cool, how much time you need? They'd be like, about 2 hours. I'm like, are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy? Like, I'm not standing up there talking for no 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Comedy is the most misunderstood art form of all. People just think you can do it anywhere. Just stand in the middle of a crowd, start telling a joke. No microphone.
No, here's the one that's funny. We're gonna have a party and then we're gonna cut the music off.
Yeah,
and you gonna come up and do some jokes, and I go, no, I won't. Like that's not how that works.
Right. Like you could just like pick on people at the party and stuff like that. No, bro, no, I cannot. How about this? I come to the party, leave the music on. I eat chips and dip. I dance with one of your girls, and then I leave.
Right. That's the funny thing. Like when you're doing shows and someone goes, it's her birthday or it's his birthday. He got a fake leg and his mom fell down the steps yesterday. Go ahead and say something about that in your show. And I go, nah. Yeah, like you like I'm not talking about that.
They telling us the stuff they want to say.
I know, right. I'm like, you get on stage and do that. I'm not doing that, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, this ain't TRL.
Nah, and it's crazy. I think I did a show one time and I met this dude in the audience. His name was Ragu.
Hilarious.
And he was Indian. His name was Ragu, and I'm like making jokes about it and everything. And I'm like the pasta like sauce, and everybody's like, yeah. And I'm laughing. I'm like, what's your real name? And he said it. It was like way longer than what it was. And I was like, and I asked his wife, I said, what's that mean? And she was like, I don't know. I said, you know what it means. And I was like, you mean like Little Dick or something? And everybody like just started laughing. And it was like one of those things is organic. But when you give somebody information to try to make them do the joke, it never works. You know what I mean? It never works. That's the good thing. I tell you, you coming from this is for you, Jourdain. You coming from the Comedy Zone in Greensboro, where the owner doesn't allow the host to do material typically. Where you basically got to get on stage and do the announcements, and your crowd work is based off of birthday information or celebration information. I hated it for the host, but I felt like it sharpens you for crowd work.
It definitely does. It sharpens you for crowd work. See, it's funny because like when I first started hosting there, like it was that like you had to do the crowd work thing. But I used to be able to go up in between and do a little bit of time. But then the owner kind of got away from that
right
a little bit. And he's so focused on like bachelorettes and shit and like wanting you to do the blowjob shots and stuff.
Right, right.
I was able to avoid for the longest. I was like, man, I ain't doing none of that shit. I'm not doing that bachelorette shit. And then one night there was like 7 or 8 bachelorettes in the audience, and he was like, you have to tonight. Like there's literally no way around it. And I was like, man. But like, bro, like that owner, the owner of the Greensboro Comedy Zone does not care about comedy. Like he does not.
But listen, he gets people in there to go over to that bar after the show.
Of course, it's a pregame spot. He cares about money. He does not care about quality comedy at all. He's just
he want people to laugh. He want people to have a good time, spend their money, and go to that bar.
He be like he be booking like whoever is that what he be on?
Whoever.
It is. I mean, he give me my dates though, so I'm happy about that.
Like, you know what I'm talking about, Jay, where there's just like the myriad of just like the typical like hack whatever.
But it's so wild. The funny thing about that is, this is what I laugh about is that room is very hard. Mm-hmm. That room is not an easy room to do.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because I've seen people who are really good bomb there. And that's because the crowd is in tune with hackiness.
Yes.
Right. And I don't do hacky stuff, but when I go there and they don't get it, I start ripping them one. I'd be like, hey,
yeah, because like if you tell like some smart stuff, or like, you know, especially as a Black person, you tell smart stuff or thought-provoking stuff, or, you know, things that are like socially, you know, like you're talking
uncomfortable, yeah,
social commentary stuff, like they just get weird. Like I've seen like good, intelligent comedians go there, and the crowd's just like turning their nose up because they don't want to they just want to hear about, you know, drinking or, you know, hear a guitar and all that kind of bullshit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the guitar artist. Yeah,
that's why, like when I first went to Good Nights, like it was such a breath of fresh air because the first person I worked with was Gary Goldman, and you know how his stuff is. It's very like, you know, word based and all this kind of stuff, and the crowd was like in it. They
and you got that college crowd. They right down the street. They're smart. They getting it. Yeah,
right. They were laughing, and I was like, oh, like these people.
They get comedy. That's dope, bro. That's dope. Mickey, what's your favorite place to get up on stage at, Mickey?
Shoot, man. You know what? I was the host at the House of Blues Chicago, and that was probably every Tuesday, and that's
legendary, man.
Yeah, man. It was funny, man, hearing y'all talk about that he made y'all do the crowd work, because I got very like my first 3-4 years of comedy, like I wasn't that good at crowd work at all. Like I sucked at it. And I used to look at my OGs in Houston and be enamored and just like jealous, like how do they do that, man? Because like the Ali Sadiqs and
yeah. So tell me your OGs in Houston. It's Ali. Who else?
Ali Sadiq. Y'all get the Steve Harvey Morning Show down there?
Yeah.
You know, Junior that be on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, him. His name Kier Spates.
Right.
Right. Yeah, he was my favorite, man. That dude, man, like watching him, man, that dude, he rips it down or whatnot.
So what about Des White?
Des White, you know what? When I started, Des White was living in LA at first.
Okay.
And, he was like touring with Earthquake, so he wasn't around that much, but he came later, so not as connected to him. You know, as you know, he the homie or whatnot, but
yeah.
You know, definitely like Ali, Kier Spades. It's some other cats may or may not be familiar with.
Dave Lawson.
Yeah, Billy Terrells, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, and they used to be up there and improv, and I'm like, man. And then but going to Chicago and hosting the House of Blues, that's when I got my my improv and crowd work chops up. But then I ain't gonna lie, I got a little like over reliant on it. And I was like,
oh,
man,
crowd work, yeah.
I was like, oh man, I gotta start. I gotta get this pen back right too. I gotta start, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking forward to, you know what I'm saying. So it's like you gotta have that healthy balance or whatnot.
Yeah. The thing about crowd work is now that I think about it differently than I used to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Since this happened, I feel like it's necessary for me to video every set I do now.
Right.
And to dedicate 3 to 5 minutes of every set to crowd work.
Yeah.
Because that valuable clip that you take from that show, you can put online and use it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, it's nonsensical. It doesn't mean anything. It's not any valuable material that you're working on. It's like, boom, look at this, y'all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And it's impact. I'm gonna tell you somebody that I saw utilize that to the T. Is Andrew Schultz.
That's my
okay.
He kills it.
I remember working with Andrew, like, man, it was a few months to a year before like he like popped, like, because you know we worked together in Jersey at the what the fuck is that? Oh, the Stress Factory.
Right.
And he's a New York guy, right?
Huh?
He's in New York, right?
Yeah, he's a New York guy. And this is before, like, I mean, you know, Schultz has like, you know, Brilliant Idiots and, you know, Guy Code and everything, but it's not like he was like selling tickets heavy like that. And, you know, we worked together and like had a good time and everything and kept in contact. And I was like, you know, what do you want to do? Like, what's your next thing? He's like, I just want to make content. He's like, I just want to keep putting content out there. And I was like, cool. And sure enough, like over the next few months, you saw him just like doing the whole thing where he's like putting a video on every day. Like on Instagram, he's like just putting a little clip on every day. And then people started drawing to it. And then he utilized YouTube the way it should be used. And now you see, you know, New York comics using that YouTube platform, following his lead, you know, like.
Right. And I still have yet to open my YouTube up like that. Like I do a podcast and I have video of podcast and he's like, man, put that up. Like put it up.
You should be putting the whole podcast on YouTube and you should be taking clips from the podcast, subtitle them, and putting the minute subtitle clips on your Instagram page.
Right, and I do that. I use it as I do the commercials for my podcast now, and I utilize that clip. I just haven't put the whole episode. The episodes are on the streaming, but I haven't put them on YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta do that because I mean, Schultz was a perfect example. I saw it like he started putting those subtitle clips, and then next thing you know, every comedian started putting the subtitle clips because you know.
Right, and the subtitles help. I mean, I put them up, and it helps because some people sometimes they just don't know what you're saying.
Well, that, and then you know, so many times people are watching their phone at work, you know, so they can't like really just be listening to somebody dropping F-bombs, you know. Talking
right.
You talking about when you say the subtitle clips? You talking about for the podcast or for the stand up?
For the stand up.
Okay.
Like you should do it for your podcast too. If you have a podcast and you video record yourself, it's like, you know, subtitle those clips from the podcast too, because that gets people, like you put a funny moment up and people are like, damn, I wonder what else happened in that.
Right.
So then they want to go check it out and listen. And that's how you get subscribers. It's all your Instagram is just a commercial for you. It's just advertising, marketing.
People look at it that way. I mean, people utilize it that way instead of trying to put up fake posts about God bless us another sold out show, and you putting a picture of you in the green room. I'm like, dude, show the audience. This is
right.
like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like don't lie because they papered the room. You know what I mean? Like don't don't try to put up there like you selling out shows and we ain't got no fan base.
That show was probably from 2 years ago.
Right. Right. It's funny, man. But I don't knock people that think until they make it. I don't, because you know there's a space for those people too.
And let me ask you this. What do you feel? How do you feel about you guys may do it or whatnot. I just want to get y'all opinion on it. How do y'all feel about taking other memes and using that to build your social media platform?
Other memes like how? Like what?
Like, you know, like
the memes?
Yeah, you see people post memes, like everybody shares memes or whatnot. You know what
memes. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, how if I'm sharing a meme, you know, I'll share you'll know that it didn't come from me. But I know some people they share it almost as if they came up with it, if they made it and they post it.
I feel like if it brings people to your page, there's an opportunity for you to be introduced to them. It's almost like I look at it like this. You go to the supermarket and your staple items are on the outsides of the aisles, like your bread, your milk, and your cheese, right?
Right.
And in order to get into the middle of the aisles, you might need a couple of those things, but you got to get to those staple items, you got to get all the way through the grocery store. So I just need you to come in. I need you to get there. So if that's what it takes for you to get there, because here's the thing, sometimes it's only one viral video that'll get them to come to you.
That's true.
Who's to say it has to be yours?
Right.
Yeah, reposting memes, like, I don't know, that don't really mean anything to me. Like, if you post it, fine. Because, I mean, regular people repost memes all the time.
I get people repost my jokes in a meme. And I go, that's my joke. That's now a meme.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, my only thing is, don't take some meme you saw on the internet and tell it on stage as if you wrote that joke.
Oh, no.
I've seen that too, though.
I know, I'm sure.
But the reverse of that is when one of your jokes has become a meme,
right?
And you can't tell that joke anymore.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I get TTBS used all day long, and like I get people that tag me and stuff online and go, they're using your line, and I go, I don't care. Like I know who started it. Right. You know what I mean? Like I don't at this point I don't care. You know,
ain't it like a slight sense of like I know people that get real upset like when their stuff get taken and stuff like that, and you know I feel that too. But then there's also like a slight bit of flattery too. Like, okay, you know, I'm doing something right. You know, people, you know,
my flattery comes from somebody saying, "Damn, I wish I had thought of that."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's when it means something to me. Like, I did my awesome joke one time, and I had a comedian that I look up to came up to me and said, "That is brilliant, bro." He said, "That's brilliant." Like he said that's brilliantly written, and I couldn't even think of coming up with something like that. And that was like the biggest compliment to me because I felt like it was dope. But then hear somebody else say it was like, all right, cool, because you know you're doing something right. And you know it's in you. You know what I'm saying? Like your favorite joke is probably not your best joke.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And the joke that got the most views from me is not even a joke to me. Like I won't even tell that.
Right. Yeah.
But I got the most views from it. So it's just like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's difficult to even think about, you know what I mean? But I will say this. I've seen some stuff from both of y'all. Jourdain, I'm super proud of you, bro. Like, I like the quality of what you're able to put up for the fact that you've had the opportunity to be on TV. The fact when you were on the late night, John, I was like, look at this dude. Like I know this dude. You know what I mean? So that was dope for me. And then the avocado Dragon Egg bit is like this still like up here. Like that joint, you can tell that joint forever. And that joint is always gonna be funny to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. And then like Mickey, it's funny. I think I was online one day and Bob Sumner was just yelling out, "Yo, anybody know how to get in contact with Mickey Housley?" And I just started busting out laughing. I was like, this dude sent a tweet out just to me like, "Anybody know Mickey Housley?" And I was like, "Yo, that's hilarious to me." You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yes. So when I see stuff like that, and then I think I hit you up like, "Yo, Bob looking for you," and it's like so funny to me because that's like
right
my dudes. Like I know these dudes. And it's like this a large community, but it's so small at the same time.
Yeah. That's funny, bro. Cause some people was texting me like, "Yo, Bob trying to get in touch with you." I think you did too, but I didn't know he did that though. I was like, "Damn, he went."
That dude put a tweet out. I guess he didn't know any other way to get in contact with you. He's like, "Yo, anybody know Mickey Housley?" I was
right.
I was sitting there looking at that joint like, did he do something wrong? And I was like, I didn't even answer. I was just like, I went to my text like, "Yo, Mickey, man, Bob, someone looking for you."
Hey, but the crazy thing, bro, he had my number at the time.
Oh, that's crazy. And then see, here's the thing, I get that because sometimes I think I don't have somebody's number, and I do. You see what I'm saying? And I save everybody's number under the same way. Like I put their first initial and their last name.
Right.
And I might have had yours listed, but I might have put Mickey in there instead of M. Housley.
Right.
And I'm looking for M. Housley and it in there. Then all of a sudden you give me the number and it's already in there under Mickey Housley. And I go, damn, I put his whole name in there. Yeah. So,
yeah, it'd be like that.
Yeah, that's dope. And I think we crossed paths again. We were in Charlotte at the NBC joint.
NBC, right. That's when you were telling me about your.
Matter of fact, that's when we all should have met. And y'all say y'all didn't meet each other. Y'all was in the same room at the same time. So
that's why I say his name sounded familiar.
He was there. He was there. He did that time. He had time on stage that day.
Yeah. Okay.
I was standing out front, and you walked up and just started talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, man, what's been going on?" I'm like, "Nothing." And I'm thinking, this is an open micer from Charlotte. And then what? Oh, I remember Cindy Castillo walked in, and I said, "Man, what you doing here?" And Cindy, in Texas. I said, "What you doing here?" He's like, "Man, I just got here. I just got back from Toronto. I mean, he was at the Just for Laughs. Yeah, he's like, I had to come in and do the thing." And he's like, "Yeah, such and such." And I go, "Wait a minute." I said, "Dude, you a comedian. I was like, I met you in Boston." He was like,
right. Yeah, I was like, yeah, but you played it real cool though. Like
I always do, man, because people know if somebody yells out my first name, like my government name, I know they don't know me from comedy. I know they know me from somewhere else.
Right.
Somebody calls me Bliss, I know they know me strictly from comedy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you came up, I treat every comedian, whether you're an open micer, a veteran, whatever. I'm never standoffish to nobody, bro.
Right.
Because I know what it's like.
Yeah.
And if I don't know you, I didn't recognize you immediately, but I knew you. But I wasn't gonna ever give you like that standoffish, like, yeah, whatever, get out of here. Like I'm not gonna do that, man.
And because you know that like people like even though like you might not have meant nothing by it. And like you said, you don't do that, but people that do that, even though they might not mean nothing by it, so people take that the wrong way sometimes.
Man, you never know the path you're gonna cross. Right. Like that person can take that situation and like use it as motivation.
Yeah.
Right. And then like 10 years from now, you be like, "What up, dude?" They be like, "Man, out of my face, man." And yeah. So like I'm never like that with people, man. I mean, right. Jourdain will tell you, like, if you do a set in front of me and I talk to you after the set, I'll be like, "Yo, you should do or yo, that joke you did, you left something off, man. You got a whole nother joke if you just do." I'm always giving feedback, everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like I'm always down to talk shop after a show. If somebody be like, "Yo, I'm tired, man. I'm about to bounce," and they be like, "Oh, we about to head over there," I'll be like, "All right, I'll stay up. Let's go."
Yeah.
I'm always willing to talk shop if that's what they want to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So was you was one of the big homies for Jourdain?
Not really. I wouldn't say necessarily a big homie. I would say that I saw in Jourdain the hunger You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if he would list me as a mentor. I would be like a mid-range.
Yeah.
Like, so I got mentors, right? But then I got people that I started after, but wasn't a mentor, but they was a little bit ahead of me. You see what I'm saying? So with Jourdain, when I met Jourdain, he already had jokes. Yeah. So it wasn't like a situation where I saw him when he first got on stage, but I knew the dude was funny, and I knew he had to get out of Greensboro.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I was proud of him leaving and going to New York, because here's the thing. He did something that I couldn't. See, I got kids.
Okay.
I'm not leaving my kids for nobody.
Yeah.
I don't care if they told me, hey man, if you go to New York, man, you be there for a year, you'll be set. Well, I'm not willing to sacrifice that year away from my kids. I'm just not. Right. You know what I'm saying? But because they didn't ask to come here. So that's a decision that happened when my kids was born in 2007. It was like, all right, man, your ass is going to be here. You know what I'm saying? So that's just it. But for Jourdain to go, and for you to just go, I'm going to Chicago, then I'm going to New York, whatever. Dude, it's like, yo, you going to go get it.
Yeah.
And you deserve everything that comes after it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, that's the decision you made. And like, I feel like this. I don't, if Jourdain or you were to say, all right, y'all the next Ali Sadiq.
Right.
Y'all got shows at the shows, sold out shows everywhere you go, right?
Yeah.
Y'all know me.
Absolutely.
So it's like this. It's like, hey man, I'm trying to get in at such and such and such and such. All right, let me get my people to call for you.
Right. That's why like you say,
it happens the same way. I don't have to audition for anybody.
Right.
They're gonna be like, yo, Bliss, oh yeah, he could.
That's the cool thing about this game too, man, because I'm going on 11 now, and I don't know how long you and Jourdain, but you do it long enough, you make those connections over the years, man, and then you know, cats, you know, it's like it could be you, it could be one of the homies, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the Chicago homies is starting to pop right now, you know what I'm saying? You got Jess Niche, T Murph, or whatnot, and so you just never know those connections that you made in the past, like where they may lead or may not, and it don't even have to be comedy at the time. It could be you might meet a writer or you know, now he's shooting a movie or whatnot, and
right. And that was part when I go back to that whole situation of don't ever push somebody off.
Right.
You don't know who you're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Like you just never know. Dude, so I mean,
that's my biggest thing is like, regardless of what level you are in comedy, know that you're in the entertainment industry, and that the key to the entertainment industry is just be likable and be easygoing and easy to work with. Being easy to work with will get you so far. I mean, because being funny and everything is just like, you know, of course, like you want to be funny, but man, being easy to work with will put you that much further. And right. I've seen
the assholes at comedy clubs. Like, and I go, dude, why are you treating the staff like that? Like, I just like you don't tip, you talk to people like, don't come in the green room. I'm like, really, dude? Like all of those things.
When you get to the point where you gotta, you know, your stand-up takes you to like television jobs, writing jobs, acting and stuff like that, man, it's you just gotta treat that shit like you would any other job, where it's like, be cool, like just be
right.
Cool. Like the first writing job I worked on, we had one person in there that, you know, just started creating drama, and you know, they felt singled out however another, and then started like pushing back and causing all these problems, and it created issues within the writing room. And it's like, that person is just making a bad name for themselves, because when the next job that comes up, that all these people in these rooms are going to work on something else, and they're going to ask like, you know, like, oh, what about this person? And if that person's name comes up, it's like, nah,
don't do it. Right. So your first writing gig was it the show with 50 Cent?
Yeah, it was 50 Central, BET, and like, it was cool. It was a cool like first job, aside from that drama that was created. But like,
right.
Man, but the dude that ran that show, he's like he's like a ride or die person. Like he's one of my mentors within the element of like the showrunner space.
Right.
Because that dude's like super nice, and if you work with him and you're cool, like he will use you again and again. Like we went and had lunch a couple months ago, and this is before all this happened or whatever. This is like last year, and we got lunch, and he's like, "What you working on?" and stuff like that. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm putting together a pilot about my family's funeral home." He's like, "Oh, that's right, you got a funeral home. I forgot about that." He's like, "I'm about to go work on this reality show that's centered around a family with a funeral home. You should come out and write on the show." Like,
yeah, bro, that's easy.
Okay. I was like, cool, I'll be there. Like, but it's because like he knows I'm good at my job and he knows I'm easy to work with. Like, and there's no issues there. So it's like, if you put yourself in positions where it's like you're setting yourself up to succeed, and then you're gracious with that opportunity, and you're always kind to the people, regardless of what position they are, from the PA to the showrunner, like they'll remember that kind of stuff.
That was like part of the deal. I remember I sent a tweet out to Chris Rock. Chris Rock was writing that show about with Keenan about the single dad with the twin girls. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's my life, bro. Let me be a writer, please. You know what I mean? That's like, that is my life. That's, you talk about my life right now. You know what I mean?
So, you should write a spec script for it.
Yeah, I mean something. I mean the stuff that the conversations I gotta have with my daughters is just insane. I mean, I'm gonna put it on stage, but it's just stuff that dudes shouldn't have to talk to their daughters about. Like, come on, man. I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
So it's all good stuff, man. But yo, it's 10, so we went an hour, man. I'm definitely, man, if y'all up for it, man, I'm gonna try to bring y'all back on one of these again. But this is a good time we had, man.
You know what's funny though, bro?
What's that?
The whole time you talking, every time you tell a story, and then what you saying right now, I'm looking at this picture behind you with this face like, man, this nigga lying.
That's the picture. That's the picture I always have on my shows, and like I use it as my shows. But then people come in the show and go, "Dude, you smile way more than that picture."
Right,
you got on the thing. I go, "Yeah, it's like it's basically like you think one thing and you get on stage and go, oh, this dude is funny. This dude ain't as serious as he is on the picture." So yeah,
right.
That's absolutely. But real quick, man, before I get y'all off of here, man, y'all hit the people up with the social media stuff so they know where to find y'all.
Okay. I'm Jourdain Fisher. You can find me every platform at J Fisher Comedy. It's the same across Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff at J Fisher Comedy.
Letter J Fisher, right?
Yeah, the letter J.
Letter J Fisher. Okay. All right, Mickey.
Yeah, I'm Mickey Housley on Cash App. I'm at Mickey Housley on everything. Twitter. I got rid of Twitter, but Facebook, Instagram, and Cash App.
All right. Listen, man, y'all got to find a way to get on TikTok. I know y'all don't want to.
Hey, I'm on there, bro.
You get more views on TikTok than you do on any other thing, man. The views is crazy, bro. So
you could be TikTok famous and not famous nowhere else.
Yeah, you can. It's possible. It's very possible. So yeah, it's crazy. I'm trying to find an audience somewhere.
Right.
So we're gonna make it happen, man. Hey, appreciate y'all joining in. Like I said, I'm gonna bring y'all back on, and hey, y'all hit me up whenever, man.
Will do, bro. Take care.
All right, peace.
For sure.
All right.